Okay, let's go over this practice on 7.1 to 7.3. Okay, so if you understand these questions, you're going to do really well on your exam. Okay, so the first thing we learned, when we're dealing with a polynomial, polynomials are separated by plus or minus signs. These are terms. So the degree of a polynomial is the largest exponent we see. So in this case, what is the degree of this polynomial? The degree is 8. Okay, how many terms are in the polynomial? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 terms. What is the leading coefficient? Now, it's not always the first number we see. If you have to make sure it's in standard form. Now, this happens to be in standard form. I have the largest exponent first, then I have it in decreasing order. So the first number we see is a -9. That is the leading coefficient because it's already in standard form. So if it wasn't, arrange it in standard form, then write down the first number you see. Okay? And what is the constant of the polynomial? A constant is a number without a variable, so it's a -31. Okay? So that part of the exam should be very easy. Just want you to understand certain terminology. Okay, so now here I have a monomial, okay, but it has more than one variable, so if I'm asking for the degree of a monomial, you have to add the exponents that you see. So I have x to the 8th, z to the 2nd, that's a total of 10, so the degree of that monomial would be 10. For an x, it's cubed, the y is to the 1, don't forget, so if you need to, please put a little 1 there, so that you know it's 3 plus 1 plus 5, which is going to be 9. So the degree of that monomial is a 9. Okay? So for this, I want your answers in standard form. So we're going to always start with the largest exponent we see, and that's going to be the first term we write. So just be careful when we're subtracting a polynomial, we need to really add the opposite. So this minus is going to become a plus. And I'm going to change everything inside the parentheses to its opposite. Okay, that's very important. And then we're just going to combine like terms. So I'm going to start with the cubes. I have -9a cubed and plus 5a cubed is going to be -4a cubed. Okay, that's my first term of the polynomial. The leading coefficient is -4 if I ask that. Then I'm going to look for the squareds. I have +2 and a +10 together, that's 12a squared. And then my a's, it looks like I just have a 5a. So that takes care of this. And then I just have my constant, which is now a +9. There's your answer in standard form. Okay? For number 8, we're just adding, so nothing gets changed. So we're just going to combine like things. So I have the largest exponent is to the 4th power, so I have -15 plus 3 is going to be -12 n to the 4th. Then we're going to go to the cubes. It looks like we have -7 plus -3 is going to be -10 n cubed. Then it looks like the only other thing we have is just to combine the constants. A 15 plus 5 is going to be a 20. So in that case, your answer is just a trinomial. Okay, so again, just expect an adding and a subtraction problem. For this, we're just going to do FOIL. It's a binomial times a binomial. So a -2 times -5 is going to be a 10x squared. Then we have our outers, which is going to, I'm going to write that off to the side here. So it's going to be an 18x, a negative times a negative is a positive. And then inside it's going to be a -15x. Together, it's a plus 3x. Okay, so I'm going to clean up. There's my outers and inners. And then my last, the 3 times -9 is going to be -27. Okay, so again, answer is a trinomial. For this one, I do my FOIL. So I basically distribute the 3x squared to the 3x. That's going to be 9x cubed. This right here is going to be a 12x squared. Then I come back around and I distribute the -7. So inside I'm going to have a -21x. And then finally a -7 times 4 is going to be a -28. So in this case, I can't simplify this to a trinomial. So my answer is a polynomial with 4 terms. These are all unlike terms. Okay? So first page, done. Second page, I have a binomial times a trinomial. So when you do this, you're going to distribute the 4x to everything. So I'll do that over here. So it's going to be a 12. So 4 times 3 is 12. X times x squared is x cubed. Then I'm going to have a minus 12. X times x is x squared. And then a plus 8x. Okay, so I did half the problem so far. I distributed the 4x. Now I need to distribute the negative 3 to this trinomial. And I like lining things up. So I'm going to put the negative 9x squared underneath the x squared term. Then I'm going to have a positive 9x. I like lining that up underneath the 8x. And then finally, negative 3 times 2 is going to be a negative 6. Okay, so then simplify this. So I actually have 6 terms, but I can simplify it down to 4 terms. So the 12x cubed is going to stay 12x cubed, but then this right here is going to become a negative 21x squared. This right here is going to be a 17x, and then finally a minus 6. Okay, so that's probably going to be one of the more challenging. A binomial times a trinomial. Just keep yourself organized and you'll get the correct answer. Okay? So we talked about squaring a binomial. Anytime you square a binomial, you get a trinomial. So we talked about the shortcuts. Square, double square. If you don't understand square, double square, then write it out twice. So for this one, I'll write it out twice and I'll just do FOIL. So 6x times 6x is 36x squared. Then I have my outers, which is going to be a 30x, but inside's also going to be a 30x. Together, it's a 60x. And then finally, 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so the shortcut is to square this, 6x, you get a 36x squared. Multiply what's inside and double it. So inside I get a 30x. Double it is a 60x, and then to square the 5. So square, double square. So I'm going to apply that to this one. So negative 2x squared is going to be a positive 4x squared. When I multiply what's inside, I get an 18x, but then I need to double it. So when I double an 18, we're going to get a 36x. And then I have to square a negative 9. Negative 9 times negative 9 is an 81. Okay? But again, if you don't like that, write it out twice and do FOIL. Okay? Negative times a negative is positive, and so you're going to be left with all positives. Okay? Then the last two, super easy, because your outers and inners are going to cancel out. So you're going to get 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Your outers and inners disappear. A 14x and a negative 14x disappears, and you're left with a minus 49. Okay, a negative times a positive is a minus, and you're left with 7 times 7, which is 49. This last one, you're going to have 16x squared. The outers and inners cancel out, and it's going to be minus an 81. Okay, so that took under 9 minutes to do 15 questions. Please make sure you have all your big idea assignments completed and that you really understand this, because we're going to go backwards then. So we're going to get ready to factor, where I give you this and I expect you to write it as a multiplication, and there's so many applications for that in algebra. So make sure you pay attention, make sure you correct all your mistakes, and you can use this practice with your quiz on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Take care.